U.S. Action Audio is proud to bring you this short story by award-winning author L.J. Martin, narrated by Tomm Furch. Now, The Way of the West.
Hi, Mr. Hogarth. I hear you perfectly well, and I understand you, but I still think it's about as good an idea as tickling a mule's heel to cure your toothache.
Big John Newcomer spat a stream of tobacco juice in the dust to punctuate his point.
"Come on inside and let's gnaw a cup of coffee,"
Hogarth said, trying his best to sound like the men who worked for him. The owner of the recently renamed Bar H, Harold L. Hogarth, reared back in his chair, stuffed his fat banker's cigar in his mouth, and he narrowed his eyes. He wasn't a banker, but he was the next thing to it. He was an investor. And he had invested in the Bar H a year ago after Old Man Wells lost it to the Merchants and Farmers Bank. But then Old Man Wells wasn't the only one to lose a ranch in 1886. All hoped this year would be a lot better. The two men took a seat at the plank table that served the bunkhouse, and Hogarth did his best to sound the empire builder.
"You and I have got along fine so far, newcomer. I hope to continue the relationship, but you've got to abide by my wishes, and his mother and I wish to have our son accompany you on this drive."
"I've already got a half-dozen whelps green as gourds, Mr. Hogarth."
"Then another won't matter much. Wilbur will be ready and waiting at sunup. He's 18, older than some of your hands, and perfectly capable. We want him to have his experience before he leaves for college in the East."
So it was settled. John Newcomer had his back up over the whole affair, but he said nothing, knowing from long experience as a segundo foreman that it was hard to put a foot in a shut mouth, and besides, it's usually your own throat you slice with a sharp tongue, and he wasn't about to walk away from a good job when even a poor one was nigh impossible to find. Still and all, if he could change the man's mind, he'd give it a go. But he knew that trying to make a point when Hogarth thought otherwise was like trying to measure water with a sieve. He'd end up all wet with nothing to show for it. Hogarth was slick as calf slobber, and he was the boss. Ah Chew, the cook, who was nicknamed Sneezy for obvious reasons, filled the two men's coffee cups, but was thinking of his honorable ancestors as he did so, which he had a tendency to do when he had to face unpleasant tasks. He was the bunkhouse cook at the Bar H, not the main house cook.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?